Welcome to Banner Ref 2020.
Good evening, RS and fellow Eusoffian. My name is Callista, and alongside me is Brian, also known as Bree, and we'll be your MCs for Banner Revelation 2020. So, what is Banner Revelation all about? It is SMC's first event that officially marks the start of Eusoff's journey towards IHG, and it is also where we officially introduce the captains of our sports team to the hall.
In Eusoff, we have a total of 17 sports, represented by 30 male and female captains. As you can see, along the railings, we have 17 balloons lined up across, and written on each balloon are your captains' hopes and dreams for their respective sports. Without further ado, let us introduce the captains of 2021.
First up, we have the captains of handball. Leading the female team is Shiyun, or more commonly known as Shai. Although Shai only started playing handball a year back, she managed to rise to the top with her extraordinary skills, and she's definitely not shy to destroy her opponents on court for IHG. Leading the male team would be Eusoff Kim. Can beatbox, can sing, can play sports. What can our handball captain Eusoff Kim not do? Although Eusoff only started playing handball not long ago, his tenacity and grit got him to where he is today, and with such a solid lad like him, how can Eusoff not win?
Next up, we have the captains of soccer. Leading the female team is Avina, woman having multiple leadership positions, displaying ultimate loyalty to Eusoff. Avina overcomes adversities with the girls from the post with her lovely boys. Leading the male team is Ethan. Man's position is a keeper, but think he's good enough for the outfield. True enough, with his versatility, he is able to play any positions on the field.
Next up, we have the captain of netball, Michelle. Unfortunately, she is unable to attend the event today. Michelle is an experienced yet humble netballer who will be leading the netball girls team into victory this year. Dedicated to her team, she is never hesitant to help her fellow netballers in and out of training. Stay tuned to be blown away by her this upcoming IHG.
Next up, we have the captains of volleyball. Insi is the female volleyball captain, and she followed her sister's footsteps to play volleyball since primary school. Her passion for volleyball drives her to train harder, and with adrenaline pumping through her veins, she will no doubt give 101% on court during IHG. For the males team, we have Yoptat, with a similar backstory as Insi. This volleyball legend has no worries about winning IHG along with his team of powerful players.
Next up, we have the captain of Sepak Takraw. Gil, also known for his long limbs, exudes confidence to the team with his chill personality on and off court. Being agile and flexible allows him to show his flashes of brilliance while striking the ball.
Next up, we have the captains of badminton. Representing the female team, we have Celine. Small in size but fierce on court. Celine's smashes can probably send the shuttles from Singapore to Malaysia. Next up, wrapping the males, we have Kwan Chang. Here say this look a cultural side to him as well. Being multi-talented, he's definitely the right guy to lead the stacked badminton team to glory.
Next up, we have the captains of rope relay. For the female team, Isabel. Despite starting rope relay only last year, Isabel is a dedicated and competent runner who partook in various national competitions. For the males, speeder Dex Dylan. With 5 lungs and fast legs, this dude can run all the way to Thailand in just 5 days. With such beast-like build, he's definitely an inspiration to his teammates.
Next up, we have the captains of track. For the women's team, we have Regine. With 8 years of experience in track, Regine is the perfect role model for the team. Training alongside with other talented IVP trackers, she is able to impart valuable skills to her fellow trackers. For the men's team, Hinwei. also known as Tintin. Running at a speed faster than light, Tintin has always been producing stellar results despite being relatively new. Don't say we never warned you guys, please concentrate when watching the tracker spin, or you guys might just miss them soon pass.
Next up, we have the captains of swim. We have Christy leading the female team. Although she started swimming with the intention of just learning a life skill at a tender age of 6, Christy grew to love swim as a competitive sport. Following her, we have Kyrie. With years of experience in competitive swim, Kyrie only has one goal for this year: beat Temasek. We definitely believe that they can achieve their goals, seeing how intensely they have trained so far. Do catch the swim team as they wrecked their opponents in the pool during IHG.
Next up, we have the captain of Frisbee. Leading the team is Hao Ting. With dexterity, speed and determination, Hao Ting is definitely one of the best ultimate Frisbee players you can find in Eusoff. With close to 5 years of experience in this high-intensity sport, he is able to impart both technical skills and intangible value to his team players, building their spirit of sportsmanship.
Next up, we have the captains of touch rugby. Juggling both studies in medicine and leading the female team is Claudia. Even though many people may think that touch rugby girls are rough due to the nature of the sport, Eusoff track team is actually full of demure chobus like Claudia herself. With the goal of only taking big W's this upcoming IHG, we are extremely stoked to see Claudia lead and beat their opponents on the field. Next up, we have Glenn leading the male team. Can be bashy, can be captain, what can this multifaceted man not do? Despite looking fierce, Glenn is actually very chill and takes time to train basics with his players. All the best to the track team for this upcoming IHG.
Next up, we have the captains of table tennis. For the women's team, we have Sonia. With her small size, people will be tricked into thinking this girl is a pushover. However, when on court, Sonia scares people by smashing her way to victory. Her determination and passion towards the sport is second to none. These attributes definitely contributed to her being well liked by her teammates. We look forward to a stellar IHG performance. Leading the men's team, we have Hong Yi, better known as Mr. Red Shirt. This dude lives and breathes table tennis. Such dedication to the sport fuels his determination to succeed in IHG. Alongside with a stacked team this year, we look forward to him leading the team to glory.
Next up, we have the captains of tennis. For the females, we have Shu Ling. You guys may not see her around EH before. That's because she's busy fine-tuning her skills on court. She looks up to her role model Bobby to practically live on the courts. With her advice to her team to not choke, we look forward to see the tennis girls play their utmost best. For the males team, we have Wilbert. He has great expectations for EH's tennis team this IHG. With him honing his skills after a year away from EH, he is hungry to learn and eager to prove his worth as a leader to the team.
Next up, we have the captain of softball. Leading the males, we have Ken Chun. With the loss to TH last year still in his head, he is looking forward to see how much the team has progressed and have them secure the supper stretch once all the games are over.
Next up, we have the captains of squash. For the females, we have Ling Yan. This superwoman is essentially toxic too. Cancel time eh? Also, she shows her humility by quoting her team members as her role models. Hearsay last IHG she was injured during a match against a rival, yet she managed to do well. Her humility coupled with her determination, we have utmost confidence in the female team to retain the gold. Leading the males team, we have Elvis. To emulate last year's gold, he is back to ensure that the supper stretch remains yellow. With his parents being role models to him because of their maximum effort in everything that they do, Elvis shows on court as well. A stacked team this year will play a part in making his task easier too. All the best.
Next up, we have the captains of floorball. For the females, we have Zoe. Emphasizing on having quality trainings, she strives to be the best to be a role model to the team. With such an attitude, that led her to being nominated as the one to lead the team this IHG. We wish the female team all the best. Leading the males, we have Dylan. With his passion and desire to succeed, he always requires the team to give their all in training so that it will translate in real matches. He'll say this keeper not only dominates the post, but also the dance floor too. Let's cheer on our floorball team to have a successful campaign.
Last but not the least, we have the captains of basketball. First up, we have Vivian leading the female team. Playing basketball since a young age of 12, Vivian is full of experience and is a positive good role model for the team, as she never fails to be present for every single training. Despite not playing for IHG last year due to an injury, Vivian is ready to lead her team to victory as they prepare to wreck their opponents during IHG. Next up, we have Dylan leading the male team. Off court, Dylan gives off the chill vibes and is a huge troller. However, on court, he becomes a whole new person. That duality though. Ask any one of his teammates and they will tell you that the most unforgettable moment for each training would be suicides. Do catch the male basketball team in the upcoming IHG.
Alright, thank you captains for the wonderful showcase. May we now invite Mr. Joate for his speech.
Hey everyone, good evening. I think it's really impressive what you guys have done, and I'm really excited to be here with you tonight. So, my name is Joel, I'm the blog ERF, and I just want to share something short with you. First off, historically, Eusoff has always done remarkably well in sports. We've been winning for a number of years, we've always done very well, and I've seen you train, I've seen you guys play, and I'll tell you one word comes to mind. That word is dedication. You play your hearts out, you give it your all. You're dedicated, you're driven. Team managers commit to making sure every training goes well, everything's in place for you guys. All hands on deck. And even though we've had a number of injuries, and there have been a number this time round, you're saying things like, you feel bad because you can't contribute anymore. And I think that in and of itself is remarkable. So I applaud you guys for that. So, a question. Why exactly do we go through all this pain? Why do we do it? For the glory of Eusoff? Maybe. But I think Eusoff does represent something bigger than ourselves, and that's the beauty of sports, and that's the beauty of why we keep doing this. Because, you know, it's never about you, it's never about the star player. It's about us, it's about we. It's about doing it together. Because we can work hard, we can train, we can overcome, we can conquer, and we can win. And we can certainly accomplish much more together than on our own. So what's the common thread that holds all of us together in Eusoff? I'd say it's the man and woman next to you on that court. You're not doing it for Eusoff, you're really doing it for each other. And when you leave Eusoff, it's not the games and it's not winning that you remember, it's each other. It's the fact that you committed to something together that's bigger than yourself and you made it happen. So win or lose, you've won already if you've learned to fight for the person next to you. You've won already if you help each other cross that finishing line. So think about your teammates as you enter this season. So one last question. Is it important to win? Oh yes, it is. It's definitely important to win. But it's not as important as trying and giving it your best shot. It's not as important as helping each other along whether you win or not. So I'll leave you with a quote by Teddy Roosevelt. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or whether the doer of these could have done any better. The credit belongs to the man and woman who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. Because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself and herself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, if you do win, and who at worst, even if you fail, at least you fail while daring greatly, so that your place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never knew victory nor defeat. So, to end off, be courageous, dare greatly, and remember, Eusoff, we've got this. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Joel Tay. Let's give a hand for Mr. Joel's speech. Alright, in addition to that, we have specially prepared a banner revelation video for all of you to view. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Our captains lead the teams towards IHG 2021. They too need a leader, and that is none other than our Eusoff Sports Director. Introducing to you our 2021 Sports Director, Kun Pei Jie. Also known as Jia Lian to many Eusoffians, he is also the big brain behind all of our sports training. Without him, sports training during COVID times would not have been possible. So thank you so much, Pei Jie, for your effort. Now, may we also invite Amos, our previous sports director, to hand over the Eusoff flag to our new sports director, Pei Jie, signifying the official passing over of Eusoff's legacy.
Thank you, Joel, for the wonderful speech and good evening to everyone catching this event live. Today, I have the privilege of standing in front of you giving you this speech. We, as a whole, definitely come a long way. Before I begin, perhaps I could share some of my personal experience with Bannerweb. I could remember when I was a freshie, wow, the SMC team going door to door, banging, shout, go support Eusoff Bannerweb, go support Eusoff Bannerweb. And I was like, saw my neighbor, and I was like, okay, bro, let me support you. So I made my way down all the way from my room to this spot, where I saw our captains walking one by one. Then our sports director actually gave us a speech. But that day, what really amazed me the most wasn't the sports director's speech. In fact, I have no recollection of what Mac John said, but it was the passion and support each Eusoffian gave to the captains and to the event. How each Eusoffian played their hearts out. So this translated all the way to IHG, how each Eusoffian played their heart out on the court and screamed their lungs out for their friends. It was then a glimpse of what Eusoff spirit was like. Year 2, to all the seniors, you will remember it was one of the most exciting years. I can remember, I could feel goosebumps when my friends were shouting my name and supporting me. Fast forward to IHG, many seniors will remember the miracle weekend where we fought hard against seemingly impossible circumstance and triumph. Last year, we have Amos, then sports director, speech, motivating us to do our best and play our hearts out. Moving to IHG, where COVID hit us at the end of season, and similar to year 2, we made another sick comeback. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to show off what Eusoff have achieved for the past few years. Neither am I here to urge all of you to follow in your seniors' footsteps. Instead, I would like us to take some time and reflect and think about your motivation to play. In essence, how we should create our own Eusoff memories and leave a legacy for us to reminisce upon when we grow old. We are never defined by what we achieve, but I always believe is in times of adversity and how we face determining the kind of person we become. 2020 hasn't been easy for anyone. COVID-19 has turned most of life topsy-turvy, and what seems to be normal seems so foreign. Sometimes, it got me thinking, have we been taking the simple things like hanging out with friends, training big groups, and having late night supper freely for granted? COVID-19 has definitely affected the sporting scene tremendously as well. We started training in zones and training strictly within groups of 5. It has not been easy for anyone, but I really like to thank all of you for your support and understanding. Today, we gather to celebrate and reflect on how far we have come. Everyone has their own unique story and battles, but look around you, your neighbors, your friends, and your captains. You are not in this fight alone. Join me and tell each other, good job, we have come a long way. I would like to take this opportunity to thank firstly our captains for being so adaptive and creative to come up with different ways to provide the same quality of training despite the restriction. Do let them know how much you appreciate them. Secondly, I'd like to extend my thanks to my SMC family, my 2 heads for leading the team so well, programs team for always delivering, logs team for your behind the scenes support, and publicity and publication team for always making our Eusofian looks good and promoting them. My marketing team for constantly pushing for sponsors, my FM for booking all venues. Without them, there will be no external training. Let us, for a room, shout now and give SMC some encouragement. Thirdly, to my team manager who consistently take time and effort to feed all of us and support us unconditionally. Thank you, team managers. Last but not least, I'd like to extend my thanks to all of you, Eusofian, as well. Thank you for having faith and trust in the captain, trusting the process and having your captain's back, believing in your captains and being with them throughout this journey. Now, I'll present to you the captain's banner. Now to present to you the captain's banner, where our eagle embodies all sports and community and every single Eusofian. While our handprints surround our eagle signifies dedication and commitment our captains have shown to carry Eusoff to greater heights, to lead and to bring the team to greater level, especially through this tough time. Trust me when I say the next 3 months will pass very quickly. Cherish all the time left with your team and remember this journey is more than winning. Let us continue to create bonds that will last a lifetime. Okay, I promise this is my last point before I end off. Okay, so I actually made a speech to summarize everything. So here goes. As we continue embarking... Wait, sorry, I need a mood. Okay, let's go. As we continue embarking on this journey, remember it's more than final victory. At the end of the day, who and what we are fighting for, what will be our final takeaway. Let us make the most out of this process. It may be only a few months, but nonetheless, strive to forge deeper friendship that will last. Cherish all of it and have a great blast. Let us now remember our tagline for this year. Fear none, push on. Together, we will overcome it all. Alright, with that, we conclude this year's banner revelation. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you captains and RS for taking time out to participate in Venoref 2020. Once again, my name is Brian and she's Callista, signing out. Ciao.
Woo!